latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today guys, a bit of a review video on a product from Quest. So with me here today, I've got the Quest Elite Kensington Porch awning. So the Kensington's almost been in kind of their range for a number of years now, and it's something that offers them a definitely more price-orientated version in a more classical style. So we've got a very traditional kind of caravan porch awning here. So we've got a nice sort of framework, and then obviously we've got a beautiful fabric as well. So throughout this video, we'll kind of talk about the pros and cons, and a bit more about the nitty-gritty details of the Kensington itself. The size of Kensington initially is 340 wide by 2 deep. As it's situated here, I've also got it with the Westminster Annexe. Why it's not called the Kensington Annexe is beyond me, but just a point of reference, you can buy an Annexe for it. The Annexe itself can actually fit both sides, so you can have up to 2 Annexes per model, and it's interchangeable quite nice and neatly. Traditional in terms of its kind of look, and it's obviously in terms of the way it pitches. We've done a separate pitching and packing video on it as well, which you can see, as well as like a tutorial video about how to pitch kind of a poled awning. We've got a really nice sort of 300D cotton touch kind of fabric, so it's a polyester material, but feels in terms of its kind of texture and content. It's almost the way it reacts, oddly enough. It feels more like cotton. They've also got it in terms it's a fibre dyed system, so it's got a longer lifespan in terms of the colour and the general kind of outlay of it as well. And you see it's basically not going to fade as quickly as competitors' models. It's got a UV sort of inhibitor in it. It's about 50 plus, so again, it's a bit of protection from the sun from that point of view. But more down to the way it's been physically, the material's been kind of woven, almost creates a kind of a really nice sort of, I won't say anti-fade because everything will fade, but it's, like I say, it's got a retention, should we say, is probably a better word of putting it. The side panels as well as the front panels can completely remove, so on those warmer days you can remove everything up, have it almost like just a sunshade, quite nice and neatly. We've got this little canopy which is really quite nice, and also there's a canopy pole in the front with a sleeve as well, so not only is it just a canopy but it's also supported, so again from a bit of stability point of views it is quite nice and strong. We've got an easily adjustable frame as well, which we'll have a look at in the centre, and you can also expand it, get great tension into the roof fabric and get it looking absolutely really nice and taut, to be fair as well. We've got a front vent at the top here as well to help with airflow, and again you can zip that up as and when you want to, failing that kind of fold it over. Because the main 3 panels, I said, are removable, they also come with sort of 4 zip pullers per panel. So the joys of this means is that actually you can create a kind of a veranda kind of effect with the front panel, and to be fair, also with the side panel as well. So you have that sort of barrier against sort of dogs and kids getting out, but have that little bit more of an airflow. If you want to use it kind of more of an entrance side, what you can also see is these doors located on kind of the front side. It's very symmetrical, can open up, you can then roll that back, toggle that back, and that be kind of your main kind of entrance into the awning. In fact, we'll do that now. Everything's got these little kind of drawstring cord adjusters, so you can also get that nice and taut. Down the bottom here, you've also got a mud skirt, which kind of comes internally, and it's like a really nice strong PVC material, so it's really good and hard wearing. There's additional ties on the front of the awning as well, which you can add some extra guy lines to if you wanted to, just to kind of give it a bit more of a storm kind of bit more structure. These webbing straps that are located on either side coming with it as standard, so a really nice strong thick buckle. And also we've got a nice spring, so it's got a little bit of give to it, and a V-shaped kind of anchor peg. It means it's pretty rock solid when it's quite happily in place. The spikes come through the roof as well, which help to keep the canvas nice and tight to the actual framework, and you get little rain cowls as well to make sure the rain doesn't necessarily come in. From the Annexe point of view, it's a really nice internal frame kind of system. It means it's very sort of strong and robust once it's up. You've got kind of these little panels that obviously allow light to come through, but you can't necessarily see inside. And we've got a vent and a door at the back here, but we've got kind of a separate video on the Westminster Annexe if you wanted to see so. The side panels you've got is really nice PVC window. There's also a complete mesh vent on the side as well, so you have airflow directly in. and almost a door set at the back, which we'll have a look at in a second. And the panels can be interchangeable, so you can have it sort of swap them over. It means that back door position will be kind of brought a little bit more further forward. But I'll tell you what, let's have a look on the inside and actually see that in the flesh. So now we're inside the awning, you can kind of get a little bit more of a better feel for sort of the internal space we've got in here. The first thing that kind of strikes me is actually that even though it's sort of a standard 200-meter deep awning, you find that it's actually a decent amount of size in room in here. You know, I think that's almost a testament to kind of the traditional kind of shape of it. You know, very flat front with a kind of an apex roof to help create that extra interior height. It means your sort of furniture and sort of chairs, tables can be tighter up to the front panel and maximise your area behind it. So for me, I think it works really nicely, and you utilise every sort of square inch of it. The sides again are quite very vertical, so even in the corner I can stand up pretty much dead fine, and I'm about 6'2", so you know it does help to bring those sort of walls away and just make it feel a little bigger. And to be fair, even though it's say a 340 width, again I would have to say it feels a little bit bigger than that, which is quite bizarre to a certain extent. So we've got crystal clear windows at the front, which creates obviously great light into the actual awning itself. But then when we want that level of privacy, we've got these traditional style curtains to do so. Now, you can pull the curtains across like that, get your sort of nice level of privacy. On the side panels where it sort of slopes outwards a little bit, there's a little retaining clip you can put in again, just to kind of make sure that's nice and close to the window and you have no kind of lack of coverage. When you want to kind of keep it nice and homely like, there's a little tie that you can just pop it in just there, pop a little bow in it, and you know, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. That was a massive fail. We've also got the kind of strong sort of structured frame, adjustable poles on there, so there's a really nice sort of clamp system, and actually to be fair, once you've got it gripped, they don't tend to slide as well. It's something that Quest have worked on for a number of years now, and it kind of holds its own in that certain sense. The fact that you've got kind of, you go directly through the roof with the spikes means that it locks the material nice and tight to the framework as well. Other things we can note as well is the fact that they're used in a really nice oversized zip, so you've got a bit more durability and longevity in there as well. And the door panels will work nicely, that you can pick and choose, you know, which is going to be your main entrance. On that kind of theme, the side panels, like we said here, can be interchangeable, so you can move the door section from the back of the awning directly to the front by just switching them over. The annex, like we talked about, can go on either side as well, and you can have you know, two annexes on if you wished. In both the side panels, in the way that you've got a nice PVC window, you've also got a really nice sort of mesh panel as well. So you can find you can get, so this point here will actually sort of roll up, and then you've got ventilation allowed directly through there, and it sort of velcros along the bottom to get that sort of better seal. Again, curtain tracks along the slides there, and then you've also got little ties to hold that PVC window directly up. And I quite like the kind of shape and curvature of the size, sort of on the sides and also the front. It kind of looks quite smart. And from the bracket pads point of view, these fit nice and firmly against the kind of the vehicle to stop any damage. And there's also like a beading along the top, which you can almost put hanging storage pockets on, quite nice, so you can maximise again your internal space. A draft skirt and a wheel arch cover comes as a standard with the awning as well as this rear pole here to push this firmly against the caravan, and it works almost like kind of like a almost like a, I don't know, like a cricket motion there, but a hinge kind of point where we fix it from the top, butt it down and press that foam pad against it, and you've got little Velcro tabs to keep the material tight to the actual kind of pole itself. Failing that, there's a beading located there as well, and you can use this Isabella's kind of painted clips that slides on the beading and clamps around the pole to get again that tightness. It's not, because it's painted by Isabella, it's not something Quest can sell, but doesn't mean they can't design a product that will necessarily use it. So they're quite crafty in that way. The Annexe itself, it gives a good amount of space. It's obviously the same kind of width as the side panel itself, so it's around about 2-ish meters. A bedroom can be purchased additionally for it if you see fit. You can use it as a storage or window, or you know, just kind of sleeping if you really wanted to. In fact, let's pick the camera up and get a bit more of a feel for it. So actually, as we come round, we have a look at the side panel. So I've jotted down like a little veranda kind of style. You've got the canopy on the front located here as well, as obviously the rain cowls to stop the water coming in. And you've got that bar across the top, so you can really make sure that's nice and rigid and the water drains properly. Mesh boils into the front section there, and you've got a little screen you can actually sort of stop the ventilation if you really wanted to. We've got the mud skirting and the kind of PVC walls all the way around. And that's a bit more about the kind of the system that we've got there. So you've got the kind of beading that you can lock that directly onto by using the Isabella system. Failing that, you can just use the Velcro tabs that are located all the way down it. And you've got a really nice big foam pad to put that foam against the caravan. And that's the additional beading you can see located there. So again, you can hang things off that directly down and utilise your space along the caravan. Buckles, nice and oversized as we can see here. And then we've got reinforced points, which is really quite nice on anywhere where the joints necessarily meet the frame itself. And we come inside, you get a great sort of vision around the actual kind of campsite as you need to. Like I said, we've got the privacy curtains as previously spoken about. But the Annexe is a good sort of size again. You know, I can nearly stand up in here. I'm about 6'2". Great for sort of additional kind of storage section. But if you can't really see through, obviously you've got that kind of pattern to it. So you've got a level of privacy. You just see sort of more shapes than actually any detail. There's a rear door situated in kind of the back section as well. So if you wanted to sort of house some teenagers in here in an additional inner bedroom, they've got their own entrance and exit quite nice and neatly. And then the framework actually attaches onto the pole points just over there. So again, you can really have it quite strong and structural. Loads of adjustment in the kind of frame to make sure that regardless of what happens with the levels, you can still get it really neat and tidy. As we kind of come out, you can see how sort of nicely it tends to sit. And that's the joys of this kind of material in the frame, is that you can adjust it to make it look really quite sharp. Additional storm straps included, as we previously mentioned. This gives you a bit more of an idea about the Annexe and how well it kind of is very in keeping with the actual awning itself. And there's two big mesh vents sort of either side located there, as well as obviously that door, which we've also talked about. At the top in the top left corner where the little wings are, there's also some guide points. So that is basically designed that you can actually peg that out, and it will hopefully stop the awning moving necessarily in the rail. And we've got these storming straps, really obviously they're included with the actual awning itself. And you get a really nice sort of spring and then an oversized V-shaped peg. The pegging points are really kind of like an elasticated point, so they get a bit of give when they need to. And then that's the additional kind of tie-in points. So you can actually put some different guide points on there to get a bit more sort of structural strength if need be. But all in all, it's quite a nice awning, something, like I said, a little bit different. I think for me, it's a very well priced awning, something that, you know, it's not going to sort of completely empty the bank, but does everything you need it to from a point of view of sort of internal space, longevity, and it's got that kind of, say, like that cotton touch fabric, as they call it, that reacts a little bit differently to what we see from elsewhere of like a normal polyester. It's almost like it's not breathable, but it sort of feels like it's breathable. So you get remarkably a less amount of condensation inside of here, which if anyone's had, you know, a proper polyester awning before, they know that's definitely one of the big bugbears. That's where acrylic, but then the price of acrylic is, you know, quite a lot more. So that's where something like this, it's almost a little bit of a hybrid, but not, you know, it makes sense. It's not officially breathable. It feels like a breathable awning, which is quite, you know, and it also feels a little bit cooler in the warm wear. So that's why I do quite like it. For me, is probably the fabric itself, and also the flexibility with kind of changing panels around, adding annexes, the door situation, also the extras you get included. I think for me is quite a nice little package as a whole. For more information, you can check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to a website where we've got all the items listed, from pack sizes, pack weights, floor dimensions, individual listed of features, to prices, to package deals, to so forth and so forth. So by all means, have a look at that. It's a touch of a button. We've also got our packing and pitching and packing video as well on the awning as well, so you can always check that out if you want to see how it goes up and in the process of that as well. But for more information, by all means, get in contact with us. With either contact us via email, or you can more welcome to sort of comment in the box below. If you'd like our video, feel free to give us a thumbs up, and always subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest kind of videos we have coming out. But all in all, that's our little video review on the Quest Elite Kensington Awning with the Westminster Annexe.